Hello and welcome to Elseworlds, the DC fan podcast. My name is Jordan. With me, as always, talking DC comics. Chris, how are you, Chris?
I'm doing good. Feels like we haven't done this in a while, and it's good to get back to it. It really is.
Yeah, I guess we haven't, huh? I mean, there's some episodes that have come out since that. We had pre-recorded. There's one coming out next week or so that was pre-recorded. Um, And I know you did the episode with Anthony about the state of Superman, which I listened to, by the way.
Nice.
Got to listen to this podcast as a fan for the first time. But yeah, so we had two Smallville discussions drop while I was out on paternity leave, and then the state of Superman with Anthony from Digging for Kryptonite. And this one, we're back. Comic-Con. It's been a while since we've been able to talk some news, some actual news here. And, DC Studios didn't have a large presence there. I've been on the record that I'm totally fine with that, honestly. I
Yeah.
think I don't want to see rushed footage just because, I don't want to. Is it awesome when it happens, like them showing Fantastic Four stuff that was pre-shot? Yeah, that's cool. But for me, it's not like a must-have, and I think it would have been overshadowed by the Robert Downey stuff anyway. So I think DC actually played it pretty safe. They'll be able to drop, the trailer whenever it's ready, and start building their own hype that way. So I'm fine with the way that it went. We won't just talk DC Studios. We have some comic book stuff that I want to talk about, as I'm excited about, the absolute universe. We have some TV stuff that we'll talk about. But yeah, so it's some good stuff that DC still had. And they almost won Comic-Con just from the first item here, which I'm going to say DC and DC Studios have a new
So
logo,
wonderful.
and it looks a lot like the old logo. They have brought back the bullet, as people call it.
The best logo.
This is the logo that was from like 76 to 2005 or whatever. Like this was like a 30-year logo. And that's what DC Studios is going to use, and they said that they're all going to conform to that. So DC Comics switched over to having that logo again. So all of that is really great for me. Like, I love that logo. That's the logo I see. They've already put it on Caped Crusaders, like, end credits. Like, that's great. I'm so happy that this logo is back.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier with this logo. It's something we're familiar with. It's something we've seen 1,000 times in the comic books. And, just think of all of the memories associated with this logo. It's perfect. I could not think of a better thing because you're not going to come up with a logo that's better than this. If we're being honest, it's just not going to happen.
Exactly. It would always be compared to this. Yep. And I think I read before that they changed it because of something with the DC shoe company. So I don't know if that got resolved or if they're just like, F it, we're doing it. And
I think it's
who
different
cares
enough.
type of thing. But
Plus the studios underneath
yeah,
it.
me too.
Really, it's not like a problem. But what I would say with this logo though is that it is so perfect for like branding because it's a simple bullet with studios under it. It's nothing complicated. It's not like when they started, they looked like they were going to be this like complicated logo with the silhouettes of the heroes, and it was like proposed as like as a logo.
That was like a fan made one or
And
something.
I didn't really love that. Like this is,
Mm-mm.
and now I'm seeing why we haven't gotten like a bunch of DCU merch already because they didn't have the logo set up. That wasn't the real thing. So it's really cool that they have this. I just think it's perfect for the moment.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely picking up one of these shirts again.
Oh heck yeah!
I need the DC Bullet logo, so I will wear that. No problem. So I'm glad to see that they're on the same page. That James Gunn was able to, insert some influence over DC Comics to have them do the same logo. Um, Here's kind of their history. Yeah, this one's been 76 to 2005 is how long that lasts. That's just shy of 30 years. Then we went to, then they've been trying to find something as good as this, right?
Pretty much.
You look at 05, 12, they were like, we'll give it not even 10 years. And then they gave it 4 years for the page turning one. And then this one has been the longest since, I guess. This has been 8 years that they had this one, which I think is they were trying to replicate this without the stars type
Yeah,
of
that's
thing. It
what
looks
they were
very
doing.
similar. But there's just something about this logo.
I never liked the C in the logo, like the 2016 logo.
Yeah.
It's like I never, and anything to me is better than the folding D back. It looks like you're peeling tape off of a C. I don't like that logo at all. In fact, it's the least favorite of them. I do like the 2005 logo. I'm not going to lie. 2005 is a really good logo, but the bullet can't be beat.
Yeah. What I'll say is, and this might be blasphemy, I guess, but I'll say everything from 76 onward is better than anything before 76.
That is true.
Look at this history of the
Well,
logo.
like the first one is just like, well, it's 1940 and a DC publication is out on the stands now.
Yep. So I guess let's talk about what DC Studios showed. So they had a Creature Commandos trailer that they showed. I watched the trailer. It's very interesting. It's like Waller is told that she can no longer have Task Force X. I'm guessing this is fallout from the Suicide Squad. I read an article that tried to say that this meant the Suicide Squad was not canon.
This is fallout from Peacemaker.
But it's fallout from Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, where she can no longer have human subjects. So she does Task Force M, which is Creature Commandos. So M for monster. So obviously is tied in with that. So that looks very intriguing to me. We only have a few more months to wait. That'll launch in December. So looking forward to that. I don't have too many thoughts on it. I thought the animation looked like okay. It wasn't like mind-blowing. It wasn't like anything like that, but it's serviceable animation that I will probably enjoy. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's nothing mind-blowing, but I kind of already knew that. You kind of ruined some mojo for it a little bit when you brought up, we were talking, and you brought up how Amanda Waller's in everything, and like she's got so much presence. And I'm like, now it's like I'm keeping a tally of it, and I'm like, oh, he's so right. And so it's like
My Adventures with Superman, Absolute Power, the comics, right? You have Peacemaker, Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, Creature Commandos. Like she's even in that Suicide like anime thing on there too, Isaki or whatever that is.
Yeah.
She's in everything.
She's in more DC properties than Christopher Reeve.
I was reading like I think a random Flash comic that like inserted Waller into it because it was building the Absolute Power, and I was like, oh my god.
No, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. I like the trailer. I didn't get like totally moved by it, but like I was going to watch this anyway. So the trailer for me, the trailer was unimportant. It was all right. Here's something we're going to get. I already know it's coming. Just give it to me when you give it to me. But
that's kind of where I'm at with Penguin. They released a new trailer for that. I have not watched it because I'm like, I'm already watching this. I don't need to see any more of it. Like,
so
I kind of want to go in with some fresh, fresh. I want to go in fresh with it. I don't really want to. I used to be one of those fans that would watch the same trailer over a million times, and I've kind of really stopped doing that because I have so much other stuff going on, and it gets to the point of I kind of like having a little bit of surprises and not knowing everything that comes from a trailer.
Yeah, you're a better man than me. I've watched the Penguin trailer 3 times now. What I will tell you is I don't know how much more they can show of this. Like I think they need to be done showing us stuff. because you know, I mean, if they show us any more, we're gonna see where Pattinson is in here. I mean, it's very not a secret that this is a Sopranos like DC show, and I think when we get it, we'll get it. I don't want to talk about the trailer too much, but I will say the trailer didn't move the needle for me. I was going to watch the show anyway. I'm going to watch the show now. I'm huge into the Bat first. I'd be very interested to talk to someone, and this is something we don't do very much. Talk to someone who's not like plugged into it, and then show them the trailer and say, "Hey, did you like the Batman? We got a Penguin trailer. What do you think?" I'd be a little interested in seeing if it moved the needle for them. But for me, it basically just means, yep, we're getting the Penguin.
Yeah, and they confirmed he's going to be in Batman Part 2 as well, Penguin. So we have confirmation of that, and confirmation that filming starts in 2025 early for the Batman Part 2.
It better.
You know, and I saw a lot of people saying, like, I need an update on the Batman and Comic-Con. And
what do they have to update?
I know. I was like, I don't need an update. We already know they were supposed to start filming in like in early 2025. That's why it got pushed to begin with. They didn't have any stages, and they had to push it to 2025. So for me, that wasn't really an update. We already knew that that's when they were filming, right. And it's still coming out October 2026. So there's no real update. And I'm fine with that. Just get it before cameras, and then you can tell us whatever you want to tell us.
Pretty much spot on
that. Now, here's a fun thing. So this was not at Comic-Con, but Solo Meriduena, who played Blue Beetle, he apparently somewhere confirmed that Kumail Nanjiani is Booster Gold. Now, that was the rumor going around, reported by, I think, Nexus Point News, who had some stuff right. They also, I think, used to be part of the DCU Leaks moderator team that had a lot of stuff right on leaks. So I think that's, but I was still kind of hesitant of, let's wait to see if it's confirmed. I am still at that. But I think people have asked James Gunn a million times on Threads, and he has not addressed that one, but he addresses other stuff. So I think maybe if you read between the lines, he's just not confirming it, because maybe the deal's not actually done. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's set, but you know how sometimes, like, when you get those reports of, like, this person's in talks, that just means that the contract hasn't been signed yet. So it could technically still go south, but I think at this point, he didn't address the Ma and Pa Kent stuff until I think a few weeks after it was reported, and it's because I think they had to wait for that to get the deals done for him to officially say something. So same thing, he's mentioned who's scoring Superman. I think it was John Murphy, who did Guardians 3, and he said he couldn't announce who was doing it because the deal wasn't closed yet. But John Murphy had been working on it and had already scored everything while they were filming, because they play the score while they're filming. It's just, and people ask Gunn about that. He's like, that's just sometimes how the contracts go. So you have to wait. And, so in this case, it could just be that that's still not closed and he will be Booster Gold. I like Kumail. So I guess I'll have to see how he is as Booster Gold. I'm not immediately on board like a lot of people are.
I'm on board. See. I'm on board because I like the actor. I think he'll do justice to the role. He's got range, but he's based in comedy. And, I
was just kind of hoping for somebody younger.
Yeah, I get that. But I kind of think Booster Gold, as a little bit older, works a little better, because, like, Booster Gold is all about, like, this false bravado and this hubris and, like, building up yourself. He has to have failed before he was Booster Gold. So I can see that really working out story-wise on the screen. But, maybe I'm also thinking too much of it as a guy who likes Booster Gold a lot. So, I mean, nobody likes Booster Gold as much as you, but I do like Booster.
I'm sure there's people that like him more than me, but I am a big Booster fan. So It's just Booster's usually like I would say probably like in his 30s. He's or maybe even late 20s because he's kind of like a flamed out college football player that went pro and lost it all on betting and stuff, right? And look, you can have some big parallels with the real world right now with how much gambling has
Yeah.
invaded sports. Um, so I think that'd be cool if they kind of followed that type of track. But um, yeah, so I guess if Solo Meriduena knows it, maybe he does voice him in Booster Gold. Like maybe Booster Gold is being in the Blue Beetle animated series, or maybe vice versa. But we'll see how it
It's
goes.
possible they could be buddies too.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the.
Joel Kinnaman.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
No,
go
I'm
ahead.
looking forward to the Blue Beetle animated show. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I kind of hope there's a little bit of crossover there.
They said Joel Kinnaman is back in Peacemaker season 2. There was a director tagged Joel Kinnaman in that. Now we know Rick Flag Senior is in it with Frank Grillo. Um, we know that you know Peacemaker had killed. Uh, hold on, sorry, my computer's like glitching out right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Okay
can
or
hear
no?
you fine.
Okay. We know Peacemaker had killed Rick Flag in the Suicide Squad, and Peacemaker takes place after that. James Gunn has said only a couple of small changes are happening between Peacemaker seasons 1 and 2 because of the new universe. I literally think those changes are just the Justice League cameos at the end. Everything else probably happened. So I don't think this means that Rick Flag is back from the dead. I think it might be more like how his father was haunting him as a ghost afterward at the end of the season. I'm thinking maybe it's either going to be flashbacks between Rick Flag Sr. and Rick Flag, or it's going to be like haunting Chris, the Peacemaker, haunting him kind of the way his dad was at the final scene of season 1. So that's my kind of my thought process on how Joel Kinnaman fits in
I mean, he could haunt me too. It's possible, but
this.
no, I think you're right. I think it could be flashbacks too. Like it doesn't mean anything yet, you know. We but we've seen him before. We're comfortable with him in the role. I'm sure that there will be confusion, but I'm sure a lot of the confusion is going to be like contrived internet confusion, where it's like, well, this doesn't make sense because we don't want it to, and you need to restore the Snyderverse, and I'm like, we're still on that, okay, and you know, that's kind of how the internet goes.
Yeah. The That's really all I have to say about that. My Adventures with Superman season 3. They showed some artwork at Comic Con, which featured like bald Lex, Cyborg Superman, and Superboy being added to the cast here. So it seems like we're going to get those
Love it, love
characters
it, and love it.
added into the mix. And they also showed like some art of like, Kara being dressed in like Earth garb and, being part of the main trio. So maybe she'll have an expanded role in season 3. We'll have to find time to talk about the rest of season 2. But yeah, that's where we are. So I thought maybe when they got the renewal recently that was the beginning of them working on it. But since they already have this stuff done, I think they knew about the renewal ahead of time, and hopefully that means we don't wait. Like 2 to 3 years for a new season. Let's try to get this out next year
Well,
sometime.
I did see an article about Caped Crusader. Bruce Timm said they're still writing it and they still have to record, so there is a long time between a long
Mm-hmm.
ways. He said a long ways between Cape Crusader season 2. So I think that was the worst thing that I've ever heard because I finished season 1 and I was just like, I need it now, dude. I need it now. Like, this is really good. Like, this is the problem. You get a lot of great projects, and you don't want to rush these projects, but you're also like, I want more content that you got me going on. So it is frustrating.
Yeah, Caped Crusader. I guess let's talk about that real quick.
Mhm.
You finished it. I've only watched the first two. I haven't had time to watch the rest. Let's just share our first thoughts on just the tone, the way it looks, the series overall, without getting too much into spoilers. So just kind of share like some high level thoughts of Caped Crusader.
Yeah, I wouldn't think you could spoil it too badly because it's pretty traditional Batman story with a couple twists. But I will tell you that the tone is so Batman. Gotham is a character, and this is really, we've talked about it a lot with Batman, but that is essential. And what I love about this is you get so much of the villains in this, you get so much of the Gordons in this, and it's just there's a lot more than just Batman. You feel like it feels like a lived-in world. The tone is really good. It's reminiscent artistically of Batman the Animated Series. I wouldn't say it's grittier than Batman the Animated Series because Batman the Animated Series actually kind of went there. They just, had to do it in a way that you could get away with it for kids television. But, they do some things they couldn't do. But I think it's mostly just the same kind of thing. It's a show that all ages can really enjoy. I don't think it's this dark, gruesome Batman story. I think there's some light in it. But you get the darkness, and I really enjoyed the end of the first episode where, I'm not going to spoil anything, but Batman says, I lost tonight, and I that can't happen again, and it just highlights the impossible fight of Batman, and that's kind of the whole point of the show. I loved it. I There are some nitpicks I have. There are things I would not have done with this, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the show overall. But I mean, this is the best Batman project we've had on TV since, I don't want to be over dramatic here. I mean, it's on par with Harley Quinn. It's a serious cartoon, but it's on par with that type of quality. It's the best Batman thing we've had since maybe the Batman series in, what was that, 2004? Um, yeah, I enjoy it a lot. It's very good. I recommend it. And look, if you have problems with the twist that they have in it, you're thinking about it too much.
Yeah, I watched the first two. I thought the second episode was stronger. Um, there was some odd choices. I think the they showed it in the clip they released, so
Hmm.
I'm going to be able to say it here. When the Batmobile just comes in and swipes out three people and it just knocks them out and doesn't kill
Yeah.
them, I'm like, well, I don't understand how that happened.
So
He's going like 60 miles an hour, comes in and swipes
I,
them out.
Zack Snyder's watching that and going, they're not complaining. What the heck?
Well, because they kind of showed them alive, so I guess we can't complain at that
Yeah.
point. But it's it was odd. I feel like the Batmobile should have something to deter them other than just hitting them with the back of the
There is a
car.
scene later
Um,
on where it looks like he's going to commit murder and he doesn't. And I think that does better with it than the car. It's just like, yeah, they're dead. I'm with you there.
yeah, yeah. And I know this shouldn't bother me, but him calling Alfred Pennyworth all the
Drives me
time is
nuts.
driving me up a
I hate it.
wall.
I will tell you
Eh,
there's some payoff at the end. I'm
okay,
not going to say more than
it's
that.
just very like it feels like he doesn't have that rapport with Alfred then, which
I I hate the way he treats Alfred in the show. I actually so I thought for the longest time as I'm watching this that I didn't really like the voice of Batman. Then I realized the voice was growing on me. It's the personality I'm not a fan of. I like a dark and brooding Batman that has some personality but isn't Mr. Giggles. I don't need it to go to
Mm-hmm.
uh, George Clooney levels, but like I could use like even Robert Pattinson had some personality. Like it's very cold and detached, and it's almost robotic. I don't I don't like that. I think the voice acting is fine. I've come around on that because I first thought I didn't like his voice. But what I realized is I just don't love the personality of Bruce. I think he's kind of a jerk in the show. But actually he's a real jerk in the show. But I do enjoy the show, and you don't always have to like Bruce. It's not a requirement of liking Batman.
I uh I like the voice so far. I think Hamish is doing a good job. It sounds very close to Kevin Conroy for me actually, so I'm digging that. Um, yeah, I would say this is probably my favorite Batman voice after Kevin Conroy because I was not a fan of Jensen Ackles' voice in like the
Yep.
DCAU of movies that they've been having. I don't know. He just sounds really rough, and I can't believe people actually want him to be the live
You're
action Bruce. And
preaching to the
I say
choir.
that as a fan of Jensen Ackles,
I've come
but
around on him as an
um,
actor. There was a point where I was like, I don't know if he's the caliber of actor. I've gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, he's a good actor. I don't want him to be Batman. I agree with you on the DCAU thing. I I agree
yeah,
100%. I like this voice of Batman, and I agree it is on the same scale as Kevin Conroy. Nothing compares to Kevin Conroy, but I think the personality hid the fact that I like the voice. Because that was one of my first complaints is I don't really like the voice. There are scenes where I'm like, I think Batman is a little flat here, but you know, Cape Crusader is good. I want more of
yeah,
it. I want more of it. I might have to rewatch it like twice.
yeah. I'll try to finish it up, and maybe next episode we can
Oh
discuss it
yeah, absolutely.
as a whole.
And my Adventures with Superman, we can do an animated double feature.
Yes, yeah, we could. Yeah. Um, okay, let's talk some comic book news before we wrap up here at the end of the night.
Do we want to talk Superman and Lois too?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because
Shoot,
that
I
that
forgot about that.
that
Okay, yeah.
sneak peek was beautiful.
Superman and Lois trailer released for season 4. They released a really great poster too. Let
Oh,
me
the
find
poster's
that and I'll put
fantastic.
it up on the screen. Um, but yeah, no, I thought the trailer was really good. It seems like we're getting Death of
It really
Superman,
does.
right? Lex says he's dead. Um, so that is a pretty big reveal in the trailer. I think we kind of all thought they were going to go that way, but
They
it's
also
just
had a sneak
interesting to
peek.
kind of get confirmation.
They also had a sneak peek. That was
Yeah,
really awesome.
I watched I watched some of it, but once I realized it was just the Doomsday fight, I turned it off. One, because I'm watching it on my phone, and I'm like, this sucks watching it on my phone. And two, I was like, I'll save this for the actual thing. I thought maybe they would show us like a different scene or something to give us a little, I don't know, like something. I felt like it'd be better if it was something that I could actually like discuss. I feel like I can't discuss this scene with you. It's just like, oh, he was
It
fighting
was pretty
Doomsday.
awesome. Like just the images of it and the quality that is like that poster is so good. That is so damn good. And I'll tell you this about this poster. What I love about it is it's still got the floating head element, but it feels comic. It feels like a comic book cover, and just fantastic poster. Love it.
So I read a rumor that that with the Death of Superman stuff, that this is actually going to be a flashback heavy
Ooh,
season, because they know how well people like those flashbacks episodes,
that could be fun.
and and it could be a way to keep Superman in it until he's able to, come back.
So you deal with them grieving, and then it's almost like Arrow. You have the flashbacks built into the episode, and then Lois has a memory, and then it's Superman. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
maybe I like that. I also really want to see Jordan step up. Jordan and John Henry. I want to see them step up. But yeah, I'm really excited for the opportunity that Jordan has. I know he's going to be grieving. Not you, Jordan, but
Yeah, I have great opportunity in this.
Well, with great power comes, great responsibility. But it's a different franchise.
So yeah, no, I'm very excited for it. I think it's going to be really cool. The first poster they released, had like the cape flowing in the
that one hard though.
and stuff.
That one hard.
It was.
I was like, I saw that. I was like, yeah, we're doing Death of Superman. It's happening.
Yeah, and we'll see how it goes. There's only 10 episodes. We'll be talking about it as they release here. The premiere's 2 episodes.
My thought is you're going to get 5 episodes where he's dead and 5 where he's alive. That's my bet.
I could see that. And I, like I said, I think then you would have 5 episodes featuring flashbacks of him, or at least we're going to get the continuation of the fight. So Superman will still be in those episodes in different ways. And then, yeah, you have him kind of come back maybe at the midpoint of the finale, the midpoint of the season.
It has to be at least 3 episodes or it doesn't feel like it has a consequence. Like, it has to be 3 episodes, I would think.
It's definitely not going to be in the premiere, which is 2, right? Yeah. So, like, you're definitely not getting it in those 2, I think.
Well, isn't it a 2-hour premiere?
Yeah, but it's 2 episodes.
Okay.
They didn't extend.
Oh, they didn't extend. Yeah. So wait a second. So we're really getting 9 episodes?
We're getting 9 weeks, but 10 episodes, with the premiere being 2 episodes.
See, I was thinking it was 10 episodes with a 2-hour premiere. Now I'm a little disappointed. Damn.
Yeah.
I was thinking, well, they're doing a 2-hour episode. Son of a fun of a.
Yeah.
That is the greatest. That is the greatest example of shrinkflation yet.
Yeah. TV seasons definitely are. All right. So let's like I said, we'll be talking about that each week while it's all
right, let's get to the comic stuff.
Make sure you come back here. Let's get to the comic stuff and then we'll wrap it up from there. Because I am very excited about this, though some of my excitement has changed with some of these reveals. But we're talking DC Absolute Universe. So right now, Absolute Power is going on. At the end of the Absolute Power event, there will be something that allows there to be another universe called the Absolute Universe. It's going to be part of DC All In, this new initiative they're doing, where starting in October, you will be able to have jumping on points on all of the books. Every single book is having a new launch point. It sounds like they're not resetting numbers, but just like, hey, in October, you can jump in, part of DC All In. Part of that is going to be DC All In number 1, which is going to kind of kick off, I think, Absolute Universe and this big story that they're planning to tell for 2 years of... which is still somehow going to tie into the main universe and all that. I watched a whole video with Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson about it. So you can find that on DC's YouTube channel if you wanted more information on it. But yeah, so DC Absolute Universe Batman by Scott Snyder.
I do love Scott Snyder. I hate this design. I'm not going to lie. I hate it. Why is he Bane? I don't understand why Batman is Bane. It's just the bat. I hate the fat bat in the first place. Like, it's my least favorite thing about Frank Miller's everything. And I'm like, this bat isn't even a bat. It's a rectangle with like a dimple. Like, I don't. I hate this design. I'm sorry. I hate it.
I'm very curious.
I love the orange skies. How this... That's very Tim Salish. Like, I love that.
Yeah, it kind of does look like Tim Sale's head of Batman.
Yeah, it's just the body is Bane. Like, why is he Bane?
Just I guess it's just this artist's interpretation. The bigger thing,
his legs are bigger than 2 tree trunks combined.
there is no cape. It looks like it's part of these this like clawed wings on his arms, right?
Again, I hate it. I cannot stand it. It looks like he's got two penguin umbrellas.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the art of it. This is art by Nick Dragotta. Um, but yeah, look, I'm probably not getting any of these books until Absolute Flash comes out, which is going to be by Jeff Lemire, and it's going to have Wally West as the
Digging that.
Flash. That's probably what I'm going to get. But here's Absolute Superman.
Hello,
And
Jordan. Ken, how are you?
yeah, it kind of does look like that. So I think so. It's not just that they look different; they will have different backgrounds. So apparently, Absolute Batman is going to be not rich,
Okay.
not rich. He's supposed to be just like a normal guy, I think, who is shredded, and that's why he's built like a horse.
It's built like two horses.
The absolute Superman, we think the rumor is he is coming to Earth as an adult instead of a kid. So that's the rumor going around.
That one is interesting to
and
me.
this is
that yeah.
art by Rafa Sandoval.
Ooh, okay. I do like the art on this one. I made the Jordan Kent joke, but I do like this one. And I like the idea of him as an adult, like coming to Earth. That is a different take. See, I'm a fan of takes. I'm a fan of having a different take, but not like ruining anything. Yeah, go for it. A different universe. I'm for that. So far, I'm in on Superman. The Batman stuff needs to win me over.
This is written by Jason Aaron. This is the log line on it. Says superstars Jason Aaron, Rafa Sandoval unleash a shocking new take on the last son of Krypton. Without the fortress, without the family, without a home, what's left is the absolute man of steel.
That could be interesting.
So
without everything,
we'll see how that goes.
Superman, that'll be interesting.
And then we have Absolute Wonder Woman here, which is written by Kelly Thompson, art by Hayden Sherman. And it says they reinvent Wonder Woman from the ground up without the island paradise, without the sisterhood that shaped her, without a mission of peace. What is left is the absolute Amazon. And she's got like, tattoos look very similar to like, I would say Maori tattoos, almost like Polynesian island tattoos on her. I think this one will be right up your alley because I think she's going to be like a warrior.
So I already knew I was in on this one.
This is a no.
From what I've heard about this one, I already know I'm in. And she looks badass. She's fierce. The design is awesome. Like when I like a design, I'll tell you, I like the design. Like this is like this Wonder Woman will mess you up, and I like that.
And we don't have like a cover for Absolute Flash, but the rumor for that is it's Wally West becoming Flash without Barry Allen being involved at all. No Barry Allen Flash, no Barry Allen getting the powers first type of thing.
Wally's character could really use that. That would be really good for his character.
Yes, a different. I heard a rumor, not a rumor. I heard a theory. This is a theory. That people said they were doing this so that way they would have a new origin for Wally that wasn't tied to Barry, so he would be easier implemented into the DCU. I was like, that's a very interesting theory because then you can introduce Wally without having to resort to, having to build up Barry first and have Kid Flash and all that kind of stuff.
The one thing I ask is if you write someone as Barry, make them be like Barry. If you write someone as Wally, make them be like Wally.
Right. Somebody
That's the one rule I have with Flash because we always get it the other way. It's like, Grant Gustin was pretty Barry. They took a lot of Wally elements, but like Ezra Miller was Wally. I'm sorry. He just was.
Yes. There was a lot of, they haven't really done a lot of just Wally, right? Just Barry being Wally. Like Barry is always written as Wally is what I'm trying to say. It seems like.
Well, it's because Barry doesn't have that much personality. Like Barry's whole thing is he's a
Mm-hmm.
stubborn guy. He believes in the system. He wants to study uh, CSI stuff so he can free his father. He believes in the impossible. He's stubborn as hell. But he's not the quippy whippy fun guy that Wally is. Like Wally's fun. Barry is serious. Barry and Batman get along for a reason. Wally annoys the living daylights out of Batman. That's the difference between the characters. Batman is a great barometer for that.
So outside of the absolute stuff, there was just also a couple great announcements recently. Dan Mora is moving on to be artist on Superman starting in October, and he's leaving World's Finest, so that sucks. But he is teaming up with Mark Waid, and he is going to be the artist for Justice League Unlimited, which is going to be the
Can't wait.
first Justice League book since
Can't
2022
wait.
when Dark Crisis happened. And yeah, this is one I'm going to be trying to fit into my pool list
I will be
here.
reading this
Justice League
every week
Unlimited.
or every month, whatever one it is. I will be reading this. Guaranteed.
Yeah, and a lot of the art shows Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Martian Manhunter, Captain Atom, the
It's
Atom,
Justice League
Black
Unlimited.
Lightning, and Star
It's
Sapphire.
perfect. It's just
Um,
if it's anything like my favorite animated show, I'll be happy. Justice League Unlimited is my favorite animated show. I'm down with it. I am so down with it.
and apparently they're going to be putting the Watchtower satellite back up.
Yes.
And I think they said it's unlimited because it really is unlimited. They said that they will be featuring a big rotating cast, I think. So that you'll get. I think this will be a way to have Dan Mora be able to have a drawing of almost every
Nice. Well, that's
superhero.
what the show was. Justice League Unlimited would
Right.
you'd have a Black Canary episode, and then the next week it would be a Captain Atom episode, and the next week it would be a Booster Gold episode out of nowhere, and you would just change you'd have a Red Tornado episode. This is good stuff. Like you'd have an episode where one of my favorite episodes is when it's like the third episode they make the Justice League kids, and it's like so hilarious because then you got that dynamic between Diana and Bruce, but like as kids, it was hilarious. I love Justice League Unlimited. I give me all of it. If that's the premise, I'm down. Completely down.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be fun if that's the case. But yeah, so that's all the big news that we had missed. So yeah, I'm very excited to see how that plays out. The Absolute Universe I'm interested in, but I think other than Absolute Flash, which I'll give the first issue and see how that goes. Um, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think I might be dropping regular Flash soon, just because I'm not digging the Cy Spurrier run that much. So I think I might drop it in October when it's going to be having a new launching on point and like this main story is done, and I'll just kind of start collecting the trades of it again and catch up on those stories that way.
Yeah,
As I try to fit in some of these others.
I've realized I'm gonna have to start going to the trades the way I used to. I used to do trades, and now I'm like, ooh, I'm current on some things. I want to stay on top of things, and I'm like, I can't afford to keep doing this. Like, it becomes a bill.
Yeah, yeah. And when you're not digging the story that's currently happening, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
why am I doing
It kind of
this?
happened to me with Wonder Woman, where it was like the first eight issues, I was like, this is great. And then the ninth issue, I was like, I see where we're going here. How
Of which
Wonder
one?
Woman, Tom King, and it's like, and it got to a point where it's like, why? All of a sudden, it became like a kind of a chore to read. It was like, this just isn't a fun stretch. So I'm sure it'll get.
Yeah.
It was so fun before that. It's so packed with meaning, and then I got to a point where I was like, why is this boring? So
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, yeah, so we got a lot to look forward to here. Joker 2 is coming out. I'm not going to be able to go see that, but I think Chris, you were going to have either somebody on
I
or
will have
Ron on,
somebody
depending on
on
how it
or
goes.
on. It will,
We will have coverage of it
and
here. Yes, we will
we
have
will put a
coverage.
smile on that face.
And so that's coming up next. That's like the next big thing that's coming up movie wise. And then right after that is Superman and Lois. So we'll be very active in October. Penguins in September. I just don't think I'm going to have the allotment to do weekly on that. We'll probably have to do. Um, we'll see how we're going to cover
So how many
Penguin
episodes is
as we go.
Penguin? It's like 8, right?
I think
Let's
8.
do 4
Yeah.
and 4.
Yeah. Do like
Because
a.
I don't think people are chomping at the bit for a review of Penguin. Because it's one of those shows.
Yeah.
If you're into it, you're into it. If you're not, nobody cares. Like,
yeah. So we might break it up like that 4 and 4. Kind of like how we did Superman and Lois last year. Yeah. So that's what's coming down soon here. And then Creature Commandos in December. So we got a lot of stuff coming up as we get ready for the DCU launch next summer, which I think will take our show into a whole nother stratosphere as we get the big kickoff of the DCU in theaters. While Creature Commandos is the actual kickoff of it, it's animated, it's on HBO Max. Less people are going to watch that than Superman, right? So that'll be, a niche show. So when you have Superman come out, that'll be the real kickoff of that. So my plan is to kind of starting when we get to January is start really building the hype of Superman, maybe revisiting some Superman comics, maybe getting Superman creators on our show, like content creators like how we have with Anthony before, and just get like this build up as we continue to go full steam ahead into that.
And James Gunn, you're always welcome.
Yes, yeah. If you want an actual Superman creator on here, yes,
he's
James
always
Gunn,
welcome.
You're free to come on.
I doubt you'll ever hear this invitation, but the floor is yours. It really is.
And then to plug other upcoming stuff here, over onto the Infinity Saga and Beyond, our Marvel podcast. Plan is to kind of do something similar with that in the build up to Fantastic Four. So trying to get some Fantastic Four, like revisiting the earlier films, talking some comic runs of Fantastic Four as we build up to what I'm calling Logjam Media's Super Fantastic Summer. Is what I'm calling that. So Logjam Media, Super Fantastic Summer, as we'll be celebrating in July Superman and Fantastic Four just weeks apart.
So is it Super Fantastic Fragilistic Docious or something like that?
Yes. Yes.
Very looking forward to that. It should be a fun summer in 2025. So the way I'm looking at Creature Commandos is it's mini camp. It's mini camp. It's like if you're a fan, you're paying attention, and
we'll be getting our reps in. Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes the mental reps are just as important as, the actual game time. And it is what it is.
Yeah, so really looking forward to that. Of course, we do have other Marvel stuff coming down soon. Agatha is dropping in September.
That'll be fun.
We'll also be having Captain America Brave New World in February.
I'm ready to see my President Hulk out, there. Man. Harrison Ford hulking out.
Over on the Pod Awakens, our Star Wars podcast, Skeleton Crew comes out in December, so we'll be talking Skeleton Crew over there in December. So that wraps us up here at elseworldsdcfan on all of our social media. elseworldsdcfan@gmail.com if you want to send long form content. You can also comment on the video below, or if you're on the podcast apps, Spotify is adding a comment feature, or you can, just rate and review us on Apple Podcast and Spotify. It helps other people find the show. Have a great rest of your week. We'll catch you next time when we talk Caped Crusader and the rest of my adventures with Superman Season 2.